Welcome to a very special episode of Immediate Review.
The most special.
The most special. Until next year when we do it again. But today is the legendary all-night horror marathon
At the Hollywood
Theater in Portland, Oregon.
So tonight we'll be watching. We don't know what movies we'll be watching.
Yes, we are joined today with Matt Hampton.
The Mampton.
And Scott. I don't know his last name.
Scott Horton.
Scott Horton.
No need to say my name.
This is Dakota.
Okay, but so tonight we're watching 4 rare 35mm prints of 70s and 80s horror films. We have no idea. If you don't know what 35mm film is, it's this. It's how movies were originally shown. This is Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know if you can see Freddy in there. He's there.
He's there. He's dead.
And so, yeah, there's 15-minute breaks between each movie. We're going to periodically check in and give our quick review.
We know one of them.
Of the films. Let's not spoil it, though.
And then this is going to be going until 5 in the morning. So we're going to try to do a review at the end with just of all the movies in our experience, but it may not happen because it's going to be 5 in the morning.
We're doing it. It's 5 in the morning and we're doing it.
So this is also going to document how tired we all get over the course of the night. And so yeah, don't skip to the end. You know, watch those periodic changes as the night goes on.
We're hopeful now.
All right, I guess that's it. Let's fucking head in the theater.
Let's do it. All-night horror marathon. We just got done with movie number 1.
The first film of the evening was 1988's remake of The Blob.
The Blob.
The Blob. All right, we got to do this quick because we don't have much time, so we each get 1 minute. I'll start. I've seen the original. By the way, we don't know where Scott is. He might show up. I've seen the original, seen the trailer for this a lot. I've always wanted to watch this. The poster scared the shit out of me as a little kid, so I never did. Wow, it's fucking great. The special effects, top fucking notch, like on par with The Thing. Absolutely some of the best 80s special effects in general, not just horror, in general out of the 80s. Top notch. They do some stuff in here that people claim that you need CGI for, and this movie proves it wrong. And yeah, the film print we saw was in really good condition, had some speckles, but the color was perfect. I said at the beginning, the moment they announced it, I was like, this is a movie that needs to have perfect color. And yeah, did not disappoint. All right, Peter.
Never seen this movie before. Heard about it when I was a kid. Never watched it. Was very glad that they showed it. It was excellent. Did a really good job of blending comedy and tension. Had a great soundtrack. Special effects were great. Did a good job with the kills. Was a little longer than I expected it to be. I thought it was going to end at
I think it was only 5 reels.
Yeah, like I thought it was going to end on the scene with like in the street when the like evil doctor gets killed by the blob. But yeah, it kept going for a little while. They had like, you know, like I thought that the blob itself was literally just like, you know, just like a blob thing, like flubber, and it just ate you. But like this is like really like a corrosive like calamity that just grows and grows and like legitimately becomes like a world-ending event. It's pretty crazy. All right, Matt.
One thing that really stood out to me was the couple of the main actors. Seen in other things like the rogue guy, the guy always on the motorcycle.
Yeah, that was Ethan Hawke, right?
No, that was not Ethan Hawke.
It looks like Ethan Hawke.
The guy who played John Densmore in the Doors movie.
Cool.
And you know, the girl is the one that one of the girl. She is the girl that in a lot of stuff. I can't remember her name right now, but it was very iconic, very 80s, and it showed some very impressive practical effects, especially when it shows like the people who have been engulfed by the blob.
Dude.
And they try to save them, and they're already like melting. And
Freaky
they're like,
as fuck.
help me!
They killed a
that
little
was
kid in this
amazing.
movie too. They killed a little kid.
They killed kids in this movie.
I
They
didn't
did
give
not
a
pull
fuck.
any punches. This movie was on point. And it's a great way to start off this fucking horror flick. I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to see more. This is amazing.
All right, so we got 3 more. Don't know where Scott is, but we are out of time.
Hopefully he'll join us for the next review.
Yes, we will be back with movie
number
2.
trailers. We saw they played The Burning before, which is a Friday the 13th ripoff. Great trailer.
Yes.
They played Jeff Goldblum, the
The
Fly.
Fly, yes.
Great trailer. What was the other trailer? There was the third one.
I honestly thought The Burning was a PSA for gonorrhea.
I forgot it. The first
I
and
forget
last one were
trailers.
so good. I forgot the middle one, but yeah.
All right, we'll be
Peace.
back. All right, movie number 2 is done.
It is 12:50 p.m. right now.
The movie we just watched was The Final Terror.
Ooh, this is the one that we knew was gonna play because the picture online when you buy tickets was this. So
Yeah, they always have one picture for the ad for the Online Horror Marathon.
all right, so 1 minute each. We'll start with you, Peter. Then we'll go with me.
Okay, never seen this movie before. I was genuinely immersed in this movie. Honestly, I thought the cinematography was excellent. It felt like it was fairly similar to like the 4 shots in like the Blair Witch Project and whatnot. It felt like that movie was like heavily inspired by this one. It was done pretty decently, but I feel like it feels like the movie's like building up to something, and then when it finally reaches like the climax or whatever, it doesn't really feel too climaxy, and then the movie just kind of ends like out of nowhere. But it was tons of fun to watch. Totally enjoyed it. Who's next?
You got 10 more seconds.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. There was some weird film stuff going on though, where it would flicker red and like kind of frame red. And
that's
things
called
like that.
color fluctuation. So yeah, this print was in pretty good condition, but yeah,
It was like real 4.
It just basically periodically the color wasn't faded the whole time. It was just faded.
It was like
just a few frames.
70% of the frames in like real 4, I feel like were like that. But it
Yeah.
was weird because I'd never seen it go from like red for a good 30 seconds of frames and then have like little individual frames be like perfect throughout
Yeah.
it, and then it would just fade. It would just cut back and forth between like decent color and then like red kind of hue.
It works for this type of movie. Like it wouldn't work if
Yeah.
we're watching The Godfather, but for this, it totally works fine.
Okay, who's next?
I'll go. Okay, so count me off. So I like what you said about the movie immersing you. I felt that way too, man. Honestly, like I really did just feel like I was kind of, I don't know, there with these people doing it, and so. This is basically, one of the many Friday the 13th ripoffs, but it's unique in that way that it feels just like a gritty survival, like, thriller as well, and it's kind of conventional in some ways, but in other ways it's not at all. Like, this movie doesn't have a big body count, and like most of the cast survives by the end. There's like 6 or 7 people who are still alive. Spoiler alert. I really like the like monster or the guy who's the design they give for the killer, because there's one great shot where the camera's panning on the river and like they're hidden as a rock and then they come alive and like it's great. Scott.
Okay, this was the second time I had seen this movie. I saw it about 30 years ago, rented it on video because it had Daryl Hannah in it and I was into her at that time. And I really wasn't impressed. I remembered how it ended, so I guess I wasn't really as immersed as if I were seeing it for the first time. but in my opinion, it takes a while to get going. It's really slow up until the very last act, or the third act, and then it really starts to pick up. I agree with Peter in that it really seems to be building towards something, some big revelation that's going to hit you in the face, and then it just kind of ends.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a disappointment.
But it was great seeing it on film, right?
And a lot of it was really dark, so it was kind of hard for me anyway to tell exactly what was going on or what had just happened to whom. It's like I saw the aftermath of it rather than the act itself.
Yeah, lighting wasn't great, but cinematography
Well,
was really
it
good.
was kind of supposed to be that way, though. Like, it felt just, like, natural. It didn't...
It did
like
feel
a
like
gritty forest
you were there,
shots.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It didn't feel polished or produced at all.
Yeah.
I actually felt a little more connected to it because I've actually done the work that they were doing in the movie, like going and clearing trails and things like that.
Oh, it was totally filmed in the Northwest, too. Mampton.
Oh yeah, that's really what stood out to me. It looked like it was probably filmed either in the Portland area or around British Columbia. It was just very northwesty, and you could kind of tell from some of the shots that you're just like, okay, this is definitely from around this area, around parts that we have seen as residents of the Great Northwest. But no, it was interesting. It was kind of obvious from the beginning who the killer was.
Yeah,
So it was
yeah.
fucking shifty the entire time.
I was
pretty
definitely
ominous,
not
for
in
sure.
mystery and intrigue about
Everyone was
that.
like, it's that guy. Yeah, all
Well, yeah.
right.
But it kind of did the thing where it's like, yeah, it's that guy, but it's also like did he have like a deranged, like inbred
ego.
cousin that lived out in the woods that they had to keep wrapped in moss because he was so hideous, kind of a Harold and Kumar, Guantanamo Bay type thing.
But yeah, Matt, final thoughts, Matt.
It was an interesting film and worthwhile to see at least.
Yeah, it was fun. This is a really rare print too. I know there are only like 5 copies in existence.
It wasn't in terrible condition either.
It wasn't.
No,
Beginning of it was a little bit like opening, but
for a horror movie, it was great.
Yeah.
Trailers we saw are My Bloody Valentine.
yes, the original.
The Unholy.
The Unholy
Yes.
And
Prom Night.
Prom Night, yeah.
yes.
And then the trailer earlier that we forgot was It's Alive.
It's alive.
That was awesome. So, Scott, real quick, 30 seconds. What'd you think of The Blob? You missed, you weren't here.
Oh, I loved it. I remembered when it was out. I was 20 years old when it came out, and a bunch of my friends went to see it. I wasn't able to go, and they said, oh, it's really good. You got to see it. And I never had up until tonight. So I'm glad my first time was on the big screen, and I was very impressed. I enjoyed it a lot.
Fuck yeah. Well, let's head in.
All right,
movie
movie
number
number
3.
three.
Woo! So, for the 4th film, it was...
Third film.
Or third, that's how late it is. That's how tired I am. For the 3rd film, it was Trick or Treat, not the 2000 anthology film.
But the 1986 rock and roll heavy metal.
And what a treat
So,
it was.
This guy's seen it. We haven't. Talk about it, Scott.
This was the 3rd time tonight. First time was when it came out in 86. Then about 10 years ago at another horror-a-thon, it was the surprise film that we only found out about when it screened. And then most recently tonight. And I find more to like about this film every time I see it. It's not great, but it's very emblematic of the era. And it's a lot of fun. And the cameos from Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne make it what it is. So I give it 2 thumbs up.
Hell yeah, yeah. I had a blast during this. It was a very unique story. Like most of the time, like metalheads are always portrayed as like super badasses or bullies in 80s
Or real
movies.
stupid, yeah.
And in this one, he's just the protagonist who struggles with his own anxiety and shit. And then it's like, at first he's bonding with the ghost. It's not just like he's instantly haunted by this rock star.
Right.
At first he's like bonding with the rock star and likes him. And then he takes him over. Yeah, the print was fucking like really in really, really good condition too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was great. It was fucking fantastic.
And
Peter?
Fastway did the music.
All right. This movie was a fucking clusterfuck for me. Like the entire premise of the movie doesn't make any sense to me. Like he's like we have a rocker, and his old high school like won't let him play a concert, so he kills himself in a fire so that he can release a cursed video like cassette tape of himself to get revenge on the people who are just so happen to be going to that high school right now.
I think you just made me love it more.
Cause yeah, I mean, like it was definitely a ton of fun and like super goofy and whatnot. And I honestly thought that the first part of like doing the whole like nerdy kid getting bullied by the jocks who wants the girl, I thought it did it brilliantly.
Yeah.
It did it really well, and then it just starts going on this like other route where it's just got this like ghost rocker.
It does. It does.
And yeah, it's definitely really weird, but you know, it does what it does.
What's
you
the
know.
time? It's 2:55, by the way. Keep going.
Yeah, I feel like it, you know, it's not trying to be like this super serious horror movie. I think like what Scott said, it's kind of a making of its era and really speaks to what you know, I guess a metalhead would
Hair
want
metal.
to see for a horror movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it
like,
inspired Rob Zombie's Lords of Salem a lot too.
Really? Okay.
What I mean, I don't know for sure, but like,
It seemed like it.
it's the whole getting a record, playing it. It summons like satanic shit. And,
That's
Yeah,
true.
this was
Yeah.
the first movie to really use that as a plot device.
yeah, it was
Plus,
great.
pulled
First one I
pulled
saw.
heavily from DC Comics. You know, Harvey Dent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was great, dude. That guy's a riot, man. I've never seen him in anything. Matt, talk about the movie.
It was the quintessential rock is for the devil, and a guy that was like
Dude.
basically resurrected listening to records backwards. It's pretty much every like negative cliche that you can have about rock and roll applied to hair metal.
Dude, it is a very, at the end,
It's a
there's
lot of fun.
there's literally a scene where rock and roll is symbolically killing children, where he's just like got his guitar and just like zapping them to
He's just
death.
obliterating him. Yeah, he's picking them off.
Reminded me of like that the Breaking the Law Judas Priest video where they robbed the bank with their guitars. And I was like that, using the guitar as like a gun.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie was too long. Like it went. I thought that the high school scene was gonna be the end of it, and they have like
Alright.
a whole car chase.
It flew by for me
That.
for the third film, surprisingly. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, it dragged on for me for a little bit, but it wasn't terrible.
The trailers were awesome. We had Graduation Day. We had 3 on a Meat Hook
3 on a meter.
Yeah,
Yes,
3
we
on a
did.
meter.
and
Heads and-
Demonoid.
Demonoid.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know if we'll be seeing any of those, but I'm excited for the next one.
I've seen the Trick or Treat trailer here like twice, so, and then we saw it tonight, so maybe one day we'll see 3 on a Meat Hook.
But yeah, so next we'll do our 4th movie review,
Yep.
and then we will do an encapsulation of all of the movies and a sum up of the night.
What's everybody hoping for? I'm hoping for something I know. I kind of want to kick back with something comfortable.
I doubt I'm
You wanna
gonna.
sleep through it.
It's gonna be anything that I've seen. I've barely seen any of the movies from like 70s
All
or
right.
80s, so like
Scott,
pretty much
Matt?
every single one.
yeah,
It's,
I want something
I haven't
iconic
seen.
to set the night off right.
I'm still hoping for either One Dark Night or I had another one in mind. It'll come to me.
Last year they played Nightmare City,
Nightmare City.
This
which
Japanese film.
was like definitely
Italian.
I mean, yeah, Italian, and it had a disappointing ending, to say the least.
All right, we should fucking head
But
back
we should
in.
get back going. All right, we'll see you for movie number 4.
Oh.
What time is it? It is 4:44.
444.
It's 4:44, and we just finished the 4th film of the 4th marathon that I've done.
All right. Nice how that worked out.
So yeah,
this movie was called
Lucio Fulci's The House by the Cemetery was the
House
final
by the
film.
Cemetery.
It's funny, I said I wanted a familiar film. I got it. However, Scott and I were talking about this. Not our favorite Fulci movie. It's like mid-tier Fulci. It's not his worst. He's definitely done better. Bob is probably the funniest fucking thing about this movie.
Who names their fucking 6-year-old
I
kid
know.
Bob?
Oh, trust me, I know.
Everybody knows it's Robbie, and then Robert, and then Bob
And then
when they're
Bob.
like 50 and fat and bald. All right,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, no, it is awkward
Raymond.
every time you hear him say it.
I didn't even understand what she was saying at the beginning. It was like,
The kid's voice is so bad.
oh
too.
yeah,
Dubbing for
you
it.
could tell he didn't have a good time lip syncing. I mean,
Uh,
same with the mom too. She struggled as well, lining everything up, but she did okay.
Well, no, I don't mean lining everything up. I mean it's done in opposite languages, and
Right.
I just mean like the literal sound of
Oh,
the
yeah.
kid's voice, just like Bobby.
Yeah, I mean, he's a squealy little fucking 6-year-old kid, man, named Bob.
And
Like,
those
At
two
least
little
yours
monsters,
is
they're the
so-
monsters at the end. Spoiler alert.
Yes, yes.
The
irony is not lost on any of us.
But yeah, it's I'm glad we got to see a rare film print of it. It was the most damaged out of all of them.
yes,
Yeah.
it was.
You can tell that was from like 1980.
And yeah, it kicked ass. I've never seen a Fulci film, and I did it, and it was a great conclusion to this.
So, yeah,
who
cool.
wants to go next, Peter or Scott?
Scott, go ahead.
I'll go. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed because I have seen this one on the big screen before. And,
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I fell asleep the first time. It was it was the last film of a marathon. I think it was the 5th film the last time I saw it. I just couldn't stay awake. But this time I did manage to stay awake, and I like the irony at the end. But the kid is too annoying. When he gets scared, it just goes on and on and on, which I guess is the point.
Yeah.
But I was hoping if we got a Fulci film that it would be like Zombie or the New York Ripper. I would love to see that one.
Yeah, you mentioned that right before what you thought it was going to be.
New York Ripper would have been that would have been something.
That would have been sweet.
Yeah, House by the Cemetery. I think its problem is a lot of basically almost every scene is in another Fulci movie. Like it's almost like Fulci's greatest hits combined to make a single film.
Oh, that's Cat in the Brain.
Like
Where he
well,
takes clips from
oh,
other films.
okay, that's literally Fulci's greatest hits.
Right.
But I mean, just certain things like the neck rip out and just like eye
Oh, yeah.
gouging, and the two kids are in other movies, and it's just the whole movie's a lot of stuff Fulci's already done better.
But the trailers that we saw, the Dr. Butcher trailer alone.
Dr.
made
Butcher,
it, made it
MD,
worthwhile.
medical
Medical
Deviant.
deviant.
medical deviant. And then what was the other one? The Satan's Brides.
Oh, the Devil's Wedding Night.
Yeah,
Devil's
Devil's
That
Wedding
looks
Night.
really
I wanna
hip
see that.
and
Yeah.
cool. That looks like a good time.
Yeah, nudie vampire flicks, man.
I wish
They're
they
awesome.
those are the best.
Matt, what did you think of what you saw? You fell asleep at the end, but what did you think of House by the Cemetery?
I have no shame. I'm tired.
I'm tired. You're like, whatever. No, I get you.
It seemed all right from what I saw. I just wasn't really following it, but it seemed pretty good. You know, scary flick, creepy kids.
It's okay, man. I wasn't following it either, and I was awake for the
Oh,
whole thing.
Italian horror
pretty
movies
disjointed.
are all style over substance.
Yeah.
Like that's
Oh,
why
yes,
he
they
said
are.
at the beginning, he was like, "Oh, plots are overrated" when he introduced
No,
it.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Because, which is funny because westerns, it's not that way at all. The plots to Italian westerns are always great, but yeah, for some reason,
Rick
Italian
Dalton,
horror
sure.
movies are usually just like, someone's possessed, and
Especially Fulci films. Like Dario Argento tries harder to weave a plot than Fulci does. Fulci is just really abstract a lot of times.
so we got donuts. They were delicious.
Yeah.
So,
Too.
Do I get to say what I think about the movie?
oh, did you not
I
go?
did not go. Yeah.
Go, yeah.
So yeah, this movie was a fucking clusterfuck. Again.
Worse than
It's
the last.
yeah, but maybe even worse than the last one.
Definitely,
yeah, like,
dude. Definitely.
It has
the
like
last one has a character arc.
yeah. I mean this has plot. Like there is things that happen, and there's conflict in the form of fear that the characters experience. But basically, what I got is like people are either just so happen to move to this house, or it's their destiny to move to the house.
You know,
And
I
they're
vote for the
drawn
second
there
one,
because at the end the lady's just like, oh, perhaps it will be someone else's destiny, or certainly will be someone else's destiny to
dude,
move here.
I never noticed too that this is totally like kind of a Shining ripoff.
I was gonna mention that too. Is
Yeah.
that it's like has this Shining kind of thing going on, and
The psychic communication, the like
Yeah.
ghosts, the like
a family
belonging to
like
the house.
moving into
It
a
does,
place,
you're right.
spirits interconnected and whatnot. The murder doesn't really like happen, but there's a lot of things that happen that are just really strange. But you can tell that like you guys said, style over substance. Like it definitely has a style, and it does that throughout the whole thing.
And it got a rise out of the audience.
Yeah.
Like, it's still fun.
There's a lot of like close up like eye shots close to the face, shots of the dad being like "Mrrr,"
The
and
dad
like
is hysterical.
you know, I just think the biggest problem that I had with the film is from an editing perspective is the whole movie could be completely rearranged scene by scene, and the ending would be exactly the same.
That's because
nothing would
there's
change.
no plot. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It would just be like more artsy, you know, like if the editing was like different and whatnot. But
I forgot about
yeah.
the whole sequence at the end with the guy, like,
with the
finally-
doctor like in the basement.
I completely forgot about it. It's never been a beloved Fulci film.
Not his best moment.
So what's everyone's ranking for tonight? Start with you, Peter. How would you rank tonight's?
Okay, number
Films.
1 is The Blob. Of course, it was fucking excellent. For number 2, I think I got to go with the third movie, terrible with names.
Trick or Treat.
Trick or Treat. Yes, I think I got to go with that. Had a ton of fun with it. You can kind of tell the audience towards the end was getting a little like, you know, not like rowdy, but like you could tell when it would quiet down, there would be like little groups like talking, and then like a second later it would quiet down, so it wasn't holding people's attention as well. The next one is probably the house next to the cemetery, or
House by
what?
the Cemetery.
House by the cemetery. I'll say that
You
one.
put House by the Cemetery over Final Terror.
Yeah, over the Final Terror, yeah. Because I think the Final Terror, it would have been better if whatever it was trying to build to, like this major reveal that it was trying to have, if it would have had that and done that well, I feel like it would have beaten House by the Cemetery.
Oh,
but yeah.
That's a fair point. I see where you're coming from. I think I'd probably swap Final Terror and House by the Cemetery, and then basically have the same list as you. What about you, Scott?
I would have the same list, but I would probably tie Final Terror and House by the Cemetery, but for different reasons.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
But
It's
yeah.
a tough choice between the two, but yeah.
It
Matt,
was almost like with Final Terror, they ran out of money, and so they just ended it the way they did, rather than
That's
really
a-
do what they wanted to do.
That's a great observation.
That
for
is
sure.
true.
I'd say by far, definitely The Blob.
The
and-
Blob was so
It was
good.
Blob
great.
was
It was
great.
great.
Great,
It
yeah,
was good first choice.
Definitely top. It was great. Great condition.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Seeing actors that you know and love, and you're like, oh wow, super young.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, and then I'd probably have to rank it probably the same as Peter's, because Trick or Treat held my attention as well a little bit more than the second film that they had, Final Terror, which didn't really go anywhere. I did like the
House by the
flora, the flora shots in that one.
Yeah, Final Terror had a disappointing ending, but like, I really did enjoy it overall, though, and I thought the cast did a great job. And talk about like seeing future famous people. That one was chock full of them.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. That's the only reason it's still on anybody's radar is because it's early work from Daryl Hannah, Joe Pantoliano, and Rachel Ward.
Yeah, but the ending really just is just total nothingness.
Just kind of nothing.
The style was really unique though. Like I had like vibes of like the Blair Witch Project mixed with like the first half of the Predator, and like just both of those.
I got
together,
Predator vibes
like,
as well,
yeah.
for sure. Yep, I did too.
And yeah, just
Which
really.
this came out years before Predator.
Oh yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Like 6 years
At
before
least
Predator.
4 or 5.
But yeah, it did a good job with forest shots. Like the shot where you see the creature like on the log and it like stands up and
Yes,
it's all camouflage.
that
really
shot alone
done
is
really
really
well.
cool.
That was one of the best shots of the evening.
Yeah, and it did everything. I feel like good. It just I feel like it would have been better if they either finished off the build-up that they were trying to do, or just scrapped it and had more like just gore and more of the crew like die or whatever.
Speaking of finished, did you finish your list, Matt?
List?
Yeah, you had the Blob.
I'd say I'd probably rank them the same way that Peter did.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's
Okay,
so great lineup.
So yeah, what did everybody think of the Blob as a whole, like as a group discussion? I really enjoyed it as a first-time watcher. I thought the special effects were fucking excellent, like you said, on the levels of the thing.
Oh, totally.
It was very good.
I was really blown away how good they were.
Yeah.
And how gory it got.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
hands
good.
and shit.
Yeah.
Are there sequels to that?
I mean, apparently they said the son of Blob, they wanted to play that one next, but
I felt like
decided not to.
I thought he was joking.
I mean, maybe, I don't know. Like
They made a couple of sequels, or at least one to the original.
Oh,
Blob.
damn. Hey,
I don't
maybe
know if
that's
they
what
made
he's
it
talking
into
about.
this one.
The only thing about the Blob that I think is a little weird is that cold is like its like enemy,
Yeah.
and it came from space, which is like freezing cold.
Yeah,
like
that doesn't
super
make
fucking
sense.
cold.
That's
like,
a great point.
you know, like
Can't really use that
it's
logic
yeah,
in
you
this
know, like
movie.
I
Movie
know
sucks.
these need to like be, you know, logic, like you put it away, you know, but yeah, that wouldn't be the case.
We forgot to mention that Frank Darabont did the script for The Blob, who
yeah.
also wrote
He
and
co-wrote it.
directed fucking Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah,
That's
which
right.
is, I did not know
And
that.
The Mist.
And The Mist,
I do
yeah.
believe. And The Mist is a fantastic adaptation of that story.
Yeah, I agree.
Fantastic.
So yeah, Blob was super good. I definitely recommend giving it a watch if you guys want. Movie number 2, The Final Terror. What'd you guys think?
I mean, we kind of have talked
Yeah,
about
we've
that
talked
a
about
lot.
it decently. I enjoyed it. I liked the forest shots and.
I think it's the second best Friday the 13th ripoff I've ever seen.
What's the first best?
The Burning, man. The Burning is
Burning,
so
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Burning and then this. It's just, it had a unique feel, and yeah.
I'd probably rank it the lowest. I give it like a solid C, maybe a C+. But a lot of the scenes were at night, and it was just hard for me to tell exactly what was going on.
Yeah, the decision making that they had in that about when they decided to do things was really weird. Like the beginning of the movie, they're just like, "Oh yeah, we got to wait for daytime. You know, let's sleep this off, and then we're gonna go do this, and then they'll go do that, and then they find the hut, and they're just like, okay, like." Yeah, we're here. It's cool. All right, let's go in, and it's fine. And then they see the bus, and they're like, "No, we can't go near that bus. It's daytime. We gotta wait till nighttime." So yeah, little like weird logic stuff that happened in that one, and you know, of course the ending kind of being lackluster.
I mean, yeah, that kind of stuff's gonna happen.
Yeah. All right, next one. Fucking Trick or Treat.
Trick or Treat, I've always
That was
wanted
just
to watch this one. I'm glad we finally did. Scott's mentioned it a couple times, so it's funny that they picked it.
It's a great trip back to the '80s and that whole era
It's
of hair
pu-
metal.
it
and
is
that was
pure
Fast Money on the
80s.
soundtrack, and it was cheesy, and it was cheesy as hell,
It's
but it was fun.
cheesy as
But
fucking
it's
hell.
It's a fun
It is a
ride.
lot of fun. It's so
Extra
unique.
sharp shit.
Like
Yep.
you know, if someone were to say like, hey, you want to watch this movie where like this kid plays a CD backwards and like resurrects a fucking like rock demon to come and fucking like kill everybody at a high school, I'd be like, the fuck? Like, that
It's
sounds
essentially
awesome.
Metal Carey.
I was about
Yeah.
to say it's very much like a
Yeah.
Carrie.
He
He's
gets
Yeah,
picked on,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, totally.
What were you gonna
And
say,
then-
Matt?
Yeah,
Oh,
the school days.
lost my train of thought.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, and that print has been well taken care of too. It was in
Yeah,
really,
it was.
really
Yeah,
good
it was
condition.
in good shape.
Sounded great.
Yeah,
And then of course,
I was very happy with it.
yeah, House by the
Cemetery.
House by the Cemetery.
That was a well-worn
And-
copy too. That
Oh
was like,
yeah,
yeah.
that thing's been around the globe.
Like 35 years. Struck at least 35 years ago.
Oh, hell yeah.
But yeah, I do got to say the cinematography is incredible in that movie. It does a great
Oh,
job.
in House by the Cemetery?
Yeah,
Dude,
of having
the Italians knew how to
yeah,
shoot movies, man.
It does a good job of like sticking to its style. Like it knows how it wants to frame things, and it does that a lot throughout the whole thing, consistently throughout different scenes, framed in the exact same
Oh yeah,
way,
it
and
is.
it's done very well.
Never simple or
Yeah.
dull in that regard.
And yeah, it doesn't, you know, it's not like you know, Kubrick. It just has its like own unique style, and it doesn't, you know, I mean, this one I haven't seen all of Fulci, but you know, it had a good.
You've seen Zombie,
you
and I think
know,
that's the only one you've seen.
It had a good like
Zombie's a great
creepy
one.
style, but definitely not the like kind of shocking like nature that, you know, Kubrick's able to do with like The Shining and stuff like that. But
No, Fulci
still,
is more-
definitely.
It's more cruelty, long drawn out cruel
Yeah,
scenes.
yeah,
like
yeah.
when the one guy was being stabbed, it was just close ups and
Yeah.
turning the knife.
The
and the
knife
blood
stab
gushing.
where like the shit comes out and then maggots
Yeah.
fall out.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
grossest
Yeah.
one.
Hilarious.
For
No,
sure.
he likes to draw it out and just make you kind of go, oh, enough, please.
And I like that hole in her neck that's just pulsing blood. It's
Right.
Yeah.
Camera
And when the
just
father gets
lingers.
his throat torn out, it's like, you know, he shows it like 3 different ways.
All right, so
Yeah.
after everything, how does everybody feel? Tired was.
I feel good. I was a couple times falling out during House of the Cemetery. One time I like caught myself and my whole body kind of jolted. I don't know if you
Yeah.
saw it.
I did a couple
One time.
I nodded off but didn't really like miss any.
Yeah, I tapped
I
you.
can
It
still
was
hear it.
Yeah, there was like that one moment.
Yeah.
Did you? Yeah, I wanted to. It's
Um,
hard to keep them open.
I was like in a fugue state.
Kind of in that fog.
But
That
yeah,
Twilight Zone.
this is one of my favorite horror marathons. Definitely, this is my 4th one, and like I'd say, it's definitely.
This is my second here at the Hollywood.
Would
Definitely.
you say this
enjoy
year's
it.
better than last year, or last year's better?
That's. I mean, it was a different experience. You know, different movies last year, but I honestly feel like I'm more awake this year at this point than I was last year. But last year, you know, the movies were. I mean, they were very different than they were this year.
Yeah, every year
You
is
got
super
Piranha
different.
last
Yeah,
year, you got,
Piranha.
Return of the Living Dead.
No, that was the year before.
That was the year before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, last year was Tourist Trap, New Year's Evil,
Oh yeah.
and Nightmare City.
Yeah, dude, this year was way better for sure. Now that you just say those.
Yeah.
Tourist Trap and Piranha are pretty top notch.
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
just by like energy levels, I'd say this year was better. But you know, the first year for me is always going to be special.
Sure.
Yeah, I still remember it vividly.
It's
but
true,
I feel
man.
like I will with this one as well. But yeah, I just I really enjoy this festival, and I'm glad to get to come to it and experience this super awesome theater.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah,
it's like right over there.
Great introduction
Hollywood Theater.
All right.
All right, well, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween,
to it.
everybody.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Hope you enjoyed the
Signing out.
review. We'll see you next time. Later, everybody.
Time,